Hakadosh Baruch Hu Masechet Taanit Daf Yomi Aleph 5a1 says the Mishnah. We are on the Mishnah 2, 4, 6, 7 lines down. Ad matai sho'alin et geshamim. Until when you ask for geshamim. Remember that sho'alin means asking. Asking does not mean haskara, mentioning. Mentioning was Mashiach Rochman Geshem. Asking is v'ten talamata libracha. So until when do we say v'ten talamata libracha? We start with Barech Aleinu, and then we finish with until when do we say it? Okay, which is very interesting to do with the Mishnah of when are we going to start with the V'ten Talmatat? Okay, so Ad Matai Sholin Geshamim, Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says Ad Shiavora Pesach, until Pesach comes and passes by. Rabbi Meir says Ad Shietze Nisan, until Nisan finishes. So if you remember, we did have one shita that I already explained in the Gemara previously, that when it says Ad Shiavora Pesach, it means that Pesach actually started, right? But in here, it's the pashtut of the Mishnah is until Pesach finishes, or Rabbi Meir comes and he says until Nisan finishes. Shneimar says in pasuk, which is in the first month, which is Nisan. Remember that the first month is always Nisan. So therefore, since the pasuk says that we didn't say exactly when it was the entire first month. Says the Gemara. No. The Gemara says, Amar le Rav Nachman le Rabbi Yitzchak. Says Rav Nachman to Rabbi Yitzchak, Yoreh benisan, Yoreh b'marcheshvanu. What did we just say? Everyone's listening. One more time. Everyone's with me. It says, Vayored lachem geshem more umalkosh barishon. What is Rishon? What is Rishon? Chodesh Rishon Nisan. So ask the Gemara. Rav Nachman says to Rabbi Yitzchak, yeah, Yoreh benisan, Yoreh b'marcheshvanu. The word Yoreh refers to Marcheshvan, but that's when the first rains are coming. The Tanya learned in the Braita, Yoreh b'marcheshvanu malkosh b'nisan. Meaning, when you use the terminology malkosh, that's in Nisan. When you use the terminology Yoreh, Yoreh is in Marcheshvan. So Amalei.
What's Yoreh?
One more time. Basically, we have Yoreh b'marcheshvan and malkosh is in Nisan. So Amalei says Rabbi Yitzchak to Rav Nachman, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. This is what Rabbi Yochanan said. Bimei Yoel ben Petuel nitkayem mikra zeh. During the days of Yoel ben Petuel, this pasuk was fulfilled. That the Yoreh, the first rains, didn't fall until Nisan. Dichtiv, as it says in a pasuk, Dichtiv be yeter hagazam achal arbe. The makat arbe came. Remember, the locusts came, and they came and they ate also during the Batzoret to Atzirat Geshamim. Ota Shana, that year, which was the last year of the drought, Yatsa Adar velo yadu Geshamim. Adar passed by and it still didn't rain. So imagine the first rain, the entire thing. Yeah, it didn't rain. It didn't rain at all. So the first rains came down when? On the 1st of Nisan. So therefore, there was a case that you had Yoreh, which is going to be like this. Amalayim Navili Yisrael said the Navi to Yisrael, Seru veziru, go out and start planting your seeds. Amrulo, they told them, Mishesh lo kav shel chitim o kabayim seorim, yochlenu v'yichyeh o yizrenu v'yamut. They said, one second. Let's try to understand. You have one kav, right, or two kavs, or whatever it is, of whether it's chitim or seorim. What should you do? You're going to eat it, and at least you live a little bit, or you're going to plant it, and then you're going to die, because what's it going to help? You're going to plant it. Amar lahem, he said, afal pichen, seu veziru, go out and plant. Huh? Yeah, but it only started raining on Nisan. Rosh Chodesh Nisan was the first time it rained. It's going to be called a good year, but it was the last year of the drought. Says the Gemara, Nasa lahem nes, v'nitgala lahem mashe b'ktalim, mashe b'chorenim. There was a miracle, and all of a sudden they found a whole bunch of different things that was inside of the ant, the ant castles and all these things. They found so they had food. Yatsu v'zaru, they went and they planted. Sheni u'shlishi revi'i, right? And they planted on the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th of Nisan. V'yarda lahem reviyah shniya, came down the second rain on the 5th of Nisan. Hikrivu omer, right? B'shishasar b'Nisan, they brought the korban omer on the 16th of Nisan. Wheat that usually takes 5 months to grow, it grew in 15 days. Wow. 11 days, because it was from the 5th to the 16th. Okay, so remember, the first day of Nisan, it rains. Okay, the first day of Nisan, that was a Yoreh. That's when it actually fulfilled those words. Yoreh, the first rains on the first day of Nisan. They went and they planted 2nd, 3rd, 4th of Nisan. 5th of Nisan, second rain. 16th of Nisan, when they bring the Korban HaOmer, they reap the Omer and the Korban HaOmer, Sefirat HaOmer. 16th of Nisan, they went and they reaped and they did everything. And that's when, so it was 11 days. Everything grew in 11 days. So even the Omer, which is usually brought from something which is grown in 6 months, was brought in something which was grown in 11 days. And in that generation it says, Hazoreim bedim'a berina yiksoru haloch yelechu v'chon oseh meshech hazara bo yavor berina noseh al mutav, which means that b'shat hazriyah they had nothing what to eat. V'zaru, and when they came and they were planting bedim'a bebechi, they were crying because they had nothing. Hazorim bedim'a, they had nothing. Walo, zil, right? Nil, right? So he says 0. So he says, "V'nasalam nes," it was a miracle. And they came and they started reaping with singing and with joy. What does this mean? Rav Yehuda says, do you know the shore, when he's plowing, right? He's crying. Yeah, why? Because he's hungry. Yeah, the shore is hungry. But when he's coming back, right? Ochel chaziz, then he starts eating. Minatelem, and then he's happy. Meaning at the beginning, they have to muzzle the animal, and they come and they start. Now there's nothing there. So the shore cannot eat anything. So the first time that he's going, he's working like a shore, right? Or like a chamor, right? And then afterwards, what happens? He doesn't eat. Imagine you work, and then what? I tell you, you don't eat. Yeah? You go a little bit crazy. Yeah? That's like with Meltzarim. Imagine you have a meltzar that he's working, then you tell him, by the way, after you've worked so many hours, you can't touch the food. The guy will go, he was just working so much. Obviously, what happened? The shore is working. At the beginning, he's like crying. But then afterwards, once he starts tasting from the food, now he's happy. My noseh alumutav, what does it mean the noseh alumutav? He's going to carry alumutav. Amanav chastav, Masechet Taanit Daf, kaneh zeret shibolet zeratayim. Right? The tivua, right, was not like any other tivua. Shakane, the givol, right? It says is alpi shlosha v'arba min hashabolet, right? Vilu betvua zu hayta bracha miyuchad sheshibolet aruka pi shnai min hakane, which means this. Usually you have the top part, which is called the kernel. How do you call the top part? In English, how do you call the top part? The top part of the straw, of the wheat. How do you call it? Yeah, it says over here the givol, the kane is usually pi shlosha v'arba. It's usually a third or a fourth. Right? Meaning you have the stalk, and then the top part you have usually it's what is it in English? Usually, and the stalk is 3 or 4 times the top part, which is the ear of the grain. Okay, so the bottom part is 3 or 4 times greater than the top part. Here, the miracle was the exact opposite. That the top part, right, was double, right, the bottom part. Right, they have much more produce. You know what that is? That's a miracle. Okay, that was the nest. Yeah, nest 26. What? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We just said 11 days. Yeah. So Amale Rav Nachman le Rav Yitzchak says Rabbi Nachman to Rabbi Yitzchak. Okay. Says Rabbi Nachman to Rabbi Yitzchak. My dirtiv. What does it mean in the pasuk? Ki kara Hashem lara'av v'gam ba el haaretz 7 shanim. That when Hashem is going to come, what are they going to come and going to eat in the 7 days of the famine? Amalei comes and he says, this is what Rabbi Yochanan says, Shana Rishona in the first year, they ate that which was in the houses. Sheniya, the second year, they ate what was in the fields. Shlishit, the third year, they ate kosher animals. Revit, the fourth year, the non-kosher animals. There was no food. Chamishit, the 5th year, they ate the creepy crawlers. They ate mamash bugs. Shishit, the 6th year, the flesh of their own children. Shevi'it, the 7th year, their own flesh. To fulfill that which was written. So this is during the time of the Ra'av of Elisha Navi. Look what a famine it was. You know what that is? Mamash, 7 years, right? Bar Minan, yeah, 7 years famine. Look what they had to do. There was nothing. So imagine what it was. So says the Gemara, right? So basically, what we're doing now is that the question that Rav Nachman is asking now to Rav Yitzchak is answering, right? Is from the safe of the Gemara is adding on. So it's bringing down the Shurav 5 different cases that Rav Yitzchak comes and he answers to Rav Yochanan. He says like this: the Amale Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak. What does it mean in pasuk b'kibicha kodesh v'lo v'obeid? Right? Mishum b'kibicha kodesh what? Because you're going to become kadosh. So now you're not going to go into the Yerushalayim. What's going on? Opposite. If there's kedusha in Bnei Israel, so then the Shekhinah should come into Yerushalayim. So Amalei, so he says, Achim Rav Yochanan. This is what Rav Yochanan says. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu lo avo b'Yerushalayim shel mala ad she'avo l'Yerushalayim shel mata. I'm not going to go to Yerushalayim, which is found in the firmament, until I'm going to go into the Yerushalayim, which is found down in the ground. Which means until there's no kedusha in the Yerushalayim shel mata, he's not going to come, and he's going to put the Shekhinah in the Yerushalayim shel mala. Remember, just like the Bet HaMikdash, right? You remember we brought this down already. There was a stira who's going to build the Bet HaMikdash. And that's why there's a whole difference between Shibane Bet HaMikdash, Shetibne Bet HaMikdash. There's differences in the words, right? And what do we explain, right? We explain, yeah? Are you listening? Yeah, we explained. You're coming, so they have to make sure. You have to make sure, 100%. Yeah, okay, very good. So he comes and he says like this, yeah? So what happens is, he has to keep himself warm, he has to eat. Yeah, he needs more flesh. So he says like this, he says, very simple, right? We know that how is the Bet HaMikdash going to be built? So the way that the Bet HaMikdash is going to be built is that we're going to build the Bet HaMikdash down below, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring down the Bet HaMikdash of fire from above, which means that just like Yerushalayim, meaning there's a Yerushalayim Shel Mala, Yerushalayim Shel Mata, the Bet HaMikdash Shel Mata, Bet HaMikdash Shel Mala. The one down here we are building. The one up there Hashem is building, right? Or Hashem is building, huh? No, that's what's happening. So now what happens is we bring it down, right? And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring it down. But he's saying, I'm not going to come and I'm not going to bring nothing until there's no Shekhinah down below. So says the Gemara, is there Yerushalayim up above? Says the Gemara, yes. Tichtiv, as it says in a pasuk, Yerushalayim benuya ke'ir shechubera lah yachdav. What does that mean? Yerushalayim will be a benuya, just like the city which is connected to it, which means that there's something which is like connected. Well, it's not intertwined, meaning it's not, some people, sometimes they have in different places in the world, this city is like a twin or sister city to another city somewhere else or things like that. Right? Sunny Isles in Netanya? I didn't know that. Okay, so Sunny Isles in Netanya, right? But it says over here, yeah, okay. So here it says it's connected. What is connected? Not to another city. It's connected to another city upstairs. Okay. The third question. Okay. Now we're going to bring. Remember, says Nachman to Rabbi Yitzchak, right? Says Rav Nachman to Rabbi Yitzchak, what does it mean in the pasuk? Ubeachat yivaru v'yifsalu musar havalim, yeah, havalim etzu. What does that mean? Amalei, he comes and he says like this. This is what Rabbi Yochanan says. What does it mean? Ubeachat yivaru, right? He says achati shemeva'eret reshaim beginam. There's something, right, which is an avera, which is causing the reshaim to be burnt in hell, right? Shemeva'eret in gehinam. I have to say very politely. Umay, what is that? Vodazara. Ketiva chabaz, it's written mutsar avalim ha'etzu. Utivatam, and it's written over there. Hevel hema Masechet Taanit. So the fact that it calls it Masechet Taanit, so you see that hevel is avodazara. So hevel is what's causing the reshaim to be burnt, right, upstairs in hell. The Amal Rav Nachman Rabbi Yitzchak, says Rav Nachman to Rabbi Yitzchak. My dictive was in a pasuk Ishtaim Raot Asayimi. That there were two bad things that my nation did. What does that mean? What, there was only 2 averot that we did? Esrim ve'arba. There were 24 averot brought down in the Navi. 24. Not 2. 24. In Yechezkel Perek. Shevika lehu, right? Mechulot lahem. Amale, he comes and he says, this is what Rabbi Yochanan says. Achat, right? Hey amud bet, yeah, 5b. אחת שהיא שקולה כשתיים. There's one which is actually equal to two averot, which means there's one averot that actually has two bad things. My nihu avodah zarah. Avodah zarah is an averah that actually has two negative things. Tichtiv, but it says in a pasuk, right? It says ki shtayim laot asayimi oti azvu mekor mayim chayim lachtzov lahem borot nishbarim, which means that it says over here that they were miminim et emunatam beemunah kayetzeba. They were coming, they were rebelling against their emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They were doing one ra. But now that they went and they also abandoned mekor mayim chayim, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they went after avodah zarah, which is compared to borot of mei geshamim, right? That it has broken things and it only has the water that gets inside of them. So now they went and they did two bad things. Okay, it wasn't only just one, right? So he says over here, right? That means if they just went against Hashem and they just said, okay, they're not going to follow Hashem, that's one thing. But the fact that they didn't follow Hashem and plus they did avodah zarah, that's two things. And it's also written by them. Kivru iye kitiyim ur'u vekedar shilchu vidbonenu me'od ha'emir goy Elohim vehem alo Elohim ve'ami emir kevodo belo yoil. Tana, what does that mean? The kitiyim, right? It says over here the kitiyim of din laesh. So this group, right? They come and they serve the fire. Kedariyim of din lamayim. The kedariyim, they serve water. Now, 1 second. They know that water turns off the fire. So why in the world would you serve the fire if you know that all you have to do is throw some water and the water turns off the fire? But lo emiru Elohim, they didn't go against their God, and they're still going to continue, right, serving the fire, even though they know that the water could turn off the fire, extinguish the fire. However, though my nation, they went against me, even though nothing else could help them, which means there's nothing. Meaning you could understand that a guy has a God which is made out of fire, and a guy has a God made out of water. And you could understand if the guy's going to go against the God of fire to go with the God of water because water turns off fire. So you could understand that. But here, they're going against Hashem, but there's nothing that can help them. So how do you understand that? It doesn't make sense. Okay? The fifth question. Says Rav Nachman to Rabbi Yitzchak, what does it mean in the pasuk? Right? When Shemuel became elder. He became older. How old was Shemuel when he passed away? 52. Right? Which means, what's going on? Exactly. Yeah? He says, he was 52 when he passed away. But it says more. How old was Shemuel when he passed away? 52 years old, that's it.
What was the question? What was the question?
Because it said that when Shemuel became elderly, and became older, do you call a guy that's 52 old? If not, then over here we have a few elderly people.
He looked old.
Huh?
He looked old.
One second. So Amar Leis, he comes and he says, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan, this is what Rabbi Yochanan says. Zikna kafza alaf. All of a sudden he became elderly. Right? Dichtiv says in the pasuk, Nichamti kimlachti et Shaul. I have been consoled because I went and I made Shaul into the king. Amar lefanav, Shemuel says in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono shel olam, shekaltani ki Moshe ve'Aaron. You said that I'm equal to Moshe ve'Aaron. Dichtiv Moshe ve'Aaron bechol Shmuel v'koreh shemo. Ma Moshe ve'Aaron, just like Moshe and Aaron, lo batlu ma'aseh yedei mechein. Their actions was not annulled during their lifetime. Right? Why? Because Yoshua, that was a Talmid of Moshe ve'Aaron, he came in their stead, and he had a long time. Afani, so to myself, he was the one that he proclaimed that who was the king, Shalom Melech. If now all of a sudden what he proclaimed is going to be annulled because now he's choosing now David Melech to become king, you just annulled me. So Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, what am I going to do? Lemut Shaul, if I'm going to kill Shaul, right? Lemut Shemuel, Shaul, will Shaul die? Lo kashavik Shemuel, Shemuel is not going to let me do that. Right? Why? Because he doesn't want the Masechet Taanit Daf should be annulled. Lemut Shemuel, if Shemuel is going to die at the Zutar right now, they're going to speak about it. They're going to start saying, 1 second, why did he die so young? Maybe he wasn't such a tzaddik. Maybe even if he did have the talit on his head, there was still some bills, right, going under there. You understand? So what happens? So he says, Lo lemut Shaul v'lo lemut Shemuel. Let's say I'm not going to kill both of them. Not Shaul and not Shemuel. Kvar higia malchut David. It's Malchut Bet David already arrived. Ve'en Malchut naga bechavetai afilu k'lo nima. And one Malchut cannot touch another Malchut, even like mamash, like a hairbreadth. Which means that the second that it became the kingdom of the other one to go, Come on, there's nothing what to talk about. So says the Gemara, Amana Kadosh Baruch Hu, says the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Akpitz alav zikna. Right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to make him very old. Right? Hainu dichtiv, and that's what it means when it's written, V'Shaul Yoshev Bagiva Tachat Ha'eshel Barama. That Shaul was sitting in the Giva underneath the Eshel Barama. So he says, what does that mean? What is the connection between Giva, which that was the city of Shaul, which in Nachla Binyamin, and Ramah, which was Shemuel Ramati in Har Ephraim? So what's the connection? To tell you, who was the one that caused Shaul to be in the Giva? 2.5 years, and he didn't die immediately. Tfilato shel Shemuel Ramati. It means really be'emet, it was the tfilah of Shemuel Ramati. Yeah? The tfilah of Shemuel Ramati. Yeah? Why is it saying over here the tfilah? Because really be'emet, he should have died immediately. But it was through the tfilah of Shemuel Ramati that he didn't die. Okay? What? This one person's life can be pushed away for another person's life? Because now you're saying that Shemuel is going to die early in order that Shaul should die and David HaMelech should be king. But again, one more time. Technically speaking, we only needed Shaul to die. Once Shaul dies, David HaMelech becomes king. But Shaul cannot die because Shemuel is still alive. So we have to kill Shemuel in order to kill Shaul, in order that David should be alive. What's going on?
Just not for not levatel Masechta.
Yes, because Shemuel and David prayed to what he said. Yeah.
Even if Shaul dies, Shmuel did a lot of other things.
But it doesn't matter. But that's what he's saying. He's saying if you already went and you made, you have to remember at the end of the day, right? This is something that people, they work all their lives. Sometimes they have a person, right, that they come and they work and they work and they make like a big empire. They would prefer to die and not see their empire fail. It could be that their empire is going to go bankrupt, whatever. The next doesn't matter. But at least what they saw the big empire. After that, doesn't matter. What happens afterwards is not their problem.
People good souvenir.
Yeah, exactly. They have a good taste. So says the Gemara, "Mi nidche gavra mikame gavra." Says the Gemara, yes. Amar Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachman Rabbi Yochanan. Says Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachman. What does it mean in pasuk? Chatzati b'nevi marakti b'mrefi. B'maasehem lo ne'emar. It does not say right. Maasehem b'mrefi, which means to be mekayim l'gzerat Hashem and imrefiv, just like the mitav Shemuel Hanavi, which means because that was the gzerat Hashem. Alma mitche gavra mikame gavra. So you see from here that sometimes you do have a person, right, that I had to kill him because of imrefim, not because of maasehem, not because of their actions, but rather because of their words, which means that a person is pushed off because of somebody else. Okay? Another agadav Rav Yitzchak Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman and Rav Yitzchak avuyatev b'sedata. So Rav Nachman and Rav Yitzchak, they were sitting in a suda. Amale Rav Nachman and Rav Yitzchak, says Rav Nachman to Rav Yitzchak, lima mol milta, come say dvar Torah. Amalei, he comes and he says, Rabbi Yochanan, this is what Rabbi Yochanan says, Em asichim baseuda, Hashem yagdim kanen leveshet. This is a good Dvar Torah, right? That's people, maybe they would have used this last night if they would have known. Right? What does it mean? You ask somebody for Dvar Torah, he's going to say, listen, the Dvar Torah is, you're not allowed to talk in the middle of the Suda. Why? Because if you're going to talk in the middle of the Suda, maybe the food will go down, right? The windpipe instead of the food pipe, the trachea instead of the esophagus, and then what happened? And then a person could choke. You have only this sakana, and then he's going to become in sakana. So says the Gemara, yeah, batar the Saud. So after they ate, Amarle, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. But now here he fulfilled his words. Meaning, even if at the beginning he pushed them off and he said, you're not going to talk in the middle of the Suda, but afterwards he gave the Dvar Torah. What was the Dvar Torah? He says, Yaakov Avinu lo met. Yaakov Avinu never died. Amarle, he says, he says what? They eulogized him. They went and they
buried
him. Embalmed him, right? They embalmed him. They buried him. And you're going to tell me lomet? Iowa, what's going on? You understand? Sometimes people, they think that way still. You understand? They come and they say that. You know, I don't understand. There's a burial. There's this. He's still not met. I don't understand you. So Amalei, he says mikra ani doresh. No, it's pasuk. Pasuk says shlema v'ata al tira avdi Yaakov nu Hashem atechat Yisrael kirenim shulcha ben achov v'zeracha min shivyan. What does that mean? And you don't worry about my servant Yaakov, says Hashem. Don't be afraid, Israel, because I'm going to save you from the distance and your children from Shivyan, from the land of the captivity. Makishul Zaro, he's going to be juxtaposed to his children. Just like Zaro Bachayim, just like his children are alive, because you're taking them from Shivyan, right, from the land of captivity. Safu Bachayim, so too Yaakov Avinu is also alive. Okay? So again, what does that mean alive? Obviously not physically alive, right? So Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says Rabbi Yitzchak, Kol Omer Rachav Rachav Miyad Nikre. A person only has to say Rachav Rachav, and immediately he will have a seminal discharge. Just by saying Rachav twice. Yeah? Says the Gemara, Amar Le Rav Nachman.
Reading it, it's
Amar Le Rav Nachman, Ana Amina V'lo Ichpali. So what are you talking about? I could read it 100 times, nothing happens. Yeah? So he says, Amalei, no, keep coming. What are we talking about? Biodav Makira. If you know her, meaning if you know who she was and you say it, immediately will happen. Why? What? What? Rachav. Rachav Azunah. Yeah, that's her name, Rachav Azunah. Right? Because if you knew her, meaning if you knew her, immediately that would happen. Because you would know who she was, immediately you wouldn't be able to stop. Right? But you don't know. You don't know. Yeah. Kiavu miftre me'adade. Right? When they would come and they would separate from each other, from Nachman and Yitzchak, Amar Lei, he went and he told them, right? Give us a beracha. Amar Lei, I'm going to give you a mashal. Le'adam she'yalech b'midbar, somebody that's going in the desert. He's hungry, thirsty, and tired. He all of a sudden he found a beautiful tree that the fruits are so sweet and it has a good shade. And there's a beautiful amatamayim, like a water. It's not a tunnel, a canal, a water canal, right? Amatamayim is a tunnel is underground. This is it's dug into the ground, but it's an amatamayim, it's an lama, but it's not a tunnel. It's a passage of water, right? So it said over here. Imagine right now you eat from the fruits. You drink from the drink, right, from the waters. And then you come and you take the shade over there. So when he comes and he says, there's a song, right? What am I going to bless you, tree? Right? This is for Tu B'Shvat. Yeah, what are you going to bless the tree? Right? If you're going to tell you that your fruit should be sweet, they're already sweet. If it's going to tell you that your shade is going to be nice, it's already there. You're going to have water underneath you. You already have it. But rather it should be the will of God, of the Almighty. That anything that they're going to plant from you, 6A1, you should be like you. Afata, so to you, says Rav Nachman. What am I going to bless you with? Im beTorah, you have Torah. Im be'osher, with money, you have money. Im be'banim, with children, you have children. But your children should be like you. That's the biggest bracha that I could give you. Yeah? Bezat Hashem, we continue tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.